What's up, y'all? Welcome to Donyelle Denise taking her life back. If you haven't figured out, I'm Donyelle Denise. So last week we jumped into how I found out I got cancer, my diagnosis, my first round of chemo, because I'm currently on my second round of chemo. I'm doing chemotherapy right now. If you want to know about what happened in the first 6 months of my treatment and my diagnosis, I definitely will link the other vlog in the bio. So check that out. But moving forward, I ended up having to change facilities for my surgeon because the type of surgery I needed was more extensive. And when I went to the new facility, they ran me through a whole bunch of different tests. From the results I got from that and the research I did on my own, I chose to have a double mastectomy. Having a double mastectomy or bilateral mastectomy meant that I got rid of both my boobs. And they had to remove my lymph nodes underneath my armpits. For those of you guys that don't know, your lymph nodes are what help filter your blood through your body and helps create white blood cells, which helps your immune system. And your immune system helps you keep from getting sick. But once that area is infected with cancer, they have to get rid of it because that is the tall sign of it spreading throughout your body. I had surgery. While I was in surgery, or right before surgery, let's back up. Right before surgery, I was freaking out because my body was no longer going to be the same. You know, your boobs for a woman, it's a part of your femininity. It's part of what creates your figure that makes you feel sexy, feel like a woman. For me, yo, my boobs. Okay, let's talk about my boobs, okay? For me, my boobs were the part of my body that I took the most pride in. I loved my double D's. But yo, people pay for the boobs that I had. And so losing that, I felt like I honestly was losing a part of my identity. I have had a lot of issues with, weight fluctuation, being in the industry, dancing. But the one part of my body that I absolutely positively took pride in were my knockers, y'all. But yo, and then knowing that, after I was going to go through surgery, there was going to be other side effects was my right arm after they took out the lymph nodes going to be fully functional again? Just so many things. But I filled the day before my surgery, I filled that day with as much stuff as I could do. I gave my first class of this year, and that class was amazing and life-changing. I'm going to show you a little bit of that clip right now. Learning how to breathe. I learned as I begin. I also did a photo shoot, and I share a lot of those pictures. They're some of the most empowering pictures that I've ever taken, because I feel like, those are the last pictures that I took of myself before my body was going to be changed forever. I had surgery. My surgery was extremely successful, and from there, I woke up from my surgery. I remember waking up and having to go to the bathroom. Mind you, my whole family came in, so they talked to me. I was so drugged up that I don't even remember. But I remember when I woke up and I had to go to the restroom, and I went to sit up and I couldn't. It freaked me out. And the crazy thing is in my mind, I didn't even think about myself. The first thing I thought about is I started to have empathy for anyone who had ever like lost a limb or became like paralyzed, because in my mind I was like, yo, that just freaked me out. I know that I'm going to get the use of my body back. But I literally began to sob in empathy for anybody who had lost a limb, who became paralyzed, because I was like, the fear that I just felt, knowing that I'm going to get it back, I can't imagine what they must feel like. So my mind was somewhere else, but when I tell you I sobbed, I can't even, I can't put it into words. But moving forward, I needed help with everything. I needed help sitting up. I couldn't use my arms at all, especially my right arm. My left arm I could move a little bit. My right arm, nothing. It was the most humbling experience of my life. When I tell you I couldn't do anything alone, nothing, not one thing could I do by myself. I was in a ton of pain. I was released from the hospital on a Wednesday, so I had surgery on a Monday. I don't know. I could barely even walk when I left the hospital, so how they thought I was okay to leave. But because I have cancer and because my immune system is so weak, there's a lot of germs that are floating around the hospital. They wanted me out of there, like, you're safer at home. And but come Friday, I get extremely ill again. I start getting hot flashes, chills. It was like the first day I actually felt better. I was actually able to, not stand up by myself, but stand up, assist people helping me stand up, actually. And I asked my parents, I was like, please take me to bed. I'm not feeling well. I had the shivers so bad that my mom probably had about 6 blankets that she put in the heater on top of me. And I was shivering, like I was so cold. So I knew I had a fever. Anybody that has cancer that's going through chemotherapy, if you have a fever that's anywhere from 100.4 or 101, you have to go immediately to the emergency room. My temperature, once I finally took it, was 103.6. My family rushed me to the hospital. Come to find out, initially they thought I had pneumonia. It took them 3 days to figure out that I had a bacterial infection called C. diff. Not only was I fighting to just get strength back in my body from the surgery, I was also fighting now a bacterial infection. Being in the hospital, I was in the hospital for a week for the bacterial infection. So I was in the hospital longer for the bacterial infection that I actually got in the hospital. I didn't even get it outside the hospital. I got it in the hospital. I was in the hospital longer for that than I was in the hospital for my surgery. So I was recovering not only from my surgery, again, from a bacterial infection. So the first month out of the hospital was was that. Like, I have no words. I don't even know how to describe it. I have no words for you. Yeah. But the thing that helped me gain and build my strength quickly, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but a week after I got out of the hospital, my brother has a stroke, and it was pretty serious, guys. And I just knew in my mind, I was like, I can't be like out like this and needing this much help, and my brother. I just can't do this to my parents. So that was actually a surge for me to get stronger, to get up, get out of bed, go see him in the hospital when I felt up to it. And, it was like a chain reaction of a lot of different things happening at the time. That same month, my parents got in a car accident, totaled their car. Somebody like bashed the windows out of my car windows. I have a 2-door car, so the windows are really, really long. And after my surgery, I got my results back, and the plan was surgery, recovery, radiation. I was gonna be done with all this by the end of this year. Not so much. I did not have good news after my surgery. From the findings, it led my surgeons and my oncologist to believe that I potentially have residual cancer cells in my body. More of my lymph nodes weren't infected than they thought. So, which means even though I was taking chemo, Lord Jesus, and doing a bunch of preventative acts, the cancer was still spreading before they were able to take it out, and I had surgery. So that's why I am doing chemotherapy again. But the dust began to settle, and my birthday came, and I had a barbecue, and it was one of the best birthdays I've ever had. Probably over 100 people came and celebrated with me, and I was just happy to be alive, y'all. That year, from my 37th birthday to my 38th, I had been through so much. I was just glad to be alive. But since my surgery, it's probably been the hardest time because I've actually been a bit more functional. I've been trying to build my strength. And so I want to get up and go, but I don't have the energy. I still don't have a lot of strength. So it's been a big mind F, if you will, because I was ready to go and I wasn't as sick anymore. So I was ready to go and do things. So during this time after my surgery, I think I probably went through the darkest time mentally and emotionally. And I went through like just a depression for myself, my brother, everything that was going on. I felt like I was being attacked. And it's taken me up until probably towards the end of August, September, pretty much, to come out of that negative space that I was fighting. So I kind of disappeared for a while from social media, and that was why I was just in a really dark place that I was fighting to get out of. It seemed like everything I was trying to do to pick up the pieces of my life were just falling apart. Things that I just knew I was going to be able to go back to, jobs, different things, doors were just closing in my face. Things were just not happening the way I had planned. But God had something else for me. What that is, I am still trying to figure out. I am at the beginning stages, literally, of like piecing my life together. So when I say taking my life back, I've spent the past year just surviving. I want to thrive. I've looked up and connected with a bunch of different, cancer survivors. And the one thing that I keep hearing is the word thrive, thrive, thrive. So I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to thrive. What that looks like, where I'm headed next, only God knows, because he's in charge of this whole situation. But I'm excited to figure it out now. I'm tired of fighting and being stressed over what's next, what's going to happen, how I'm going to work, how am I going to survive, how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that. Now I'm just releasing. In my prayer meditation time, I kept getting share and release, share and release. So now I'm sharing everything, and I am releasing it all to allow God and the universe to lead me in the direction in which I'm supposed to go. But thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next Monday on Taking My life back. Bye, guys. See you next time. Oh, subscribe.